What radio? The music you want.
With your host, Keys Dan.
Oh yes, you can say that 2 times.
RadioWhat.com.
Oh, this is a barrel of monkeys.
What's up, party people? It's Keys Dan with RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com, coming to you live and in living color from the Radio What studios. And this is my podcast, What Makes You Famous. It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, I encourage you to go to DJLittleRock.com. Check availability, get a free price quote. It's easy. It's easy, I tell you. Party people, you know, I like to go through the community. I live in Conway, Arkansas, here in the heart of Arkansas, central Arkansas. And there's a new place downtown. It's been there for about a year, but I've been wanting to go and check it out. So I finally got the chance to go down and check out the studio downtown that is located on Chestnut. That's 911 Chestnut Street. And it is a pretty nice place. I know that doesn't say much, but it says, you know, I like to, it's a big, let's see, they took a piece of what it looks like it was a warehouse, and they took part of it and made it into a nice open space. There's tables and chairs that are all mixed matched. It looks like they bought them from just several different places. Nothing really matches, but it all works together. You have a little area over here to sit with a couple of people, a little area over there where you can sit by yourself, a little desk over here with a chair in front of it. If you want to stand up and work, there's a bar that you could stand up, lay your laptop on top of it. And it's really nice. I walked in the door and immediately I was greeted. Very nice lady. Before she even knew my name, she had given me a tour of the entire facility. There's places where you can have little private meetings. So there's a table that you could probably sit, maybe 12 people around it, and that's in a room by itself. So if you had to have a conference, you could do that right there at the studio downtown. And the reason I went over there is because their owner, the Kate Carnahan, she has been posting videos about the studio on Facebook, and I've been I liked the page because I was interested in going to see the facility. So since I like the page, I get to view the videos, and all the videos this last week or so have been, come on in, check it out for free. Come on in, check it out for free. You know, and if you do donate any money, all the money's going to Brookside. This is something that I've got involved in. The people of Brookside on Oak Street have lost their lease, so to speak. That's about 100 families or so, and they're having a benefit on Saturday at the ministries in Conway. But getting back to the studio downtown, the videos that Kate has been putting up say that all the money that you give this month will go directly to the people of Brookside. And I said, well, I've been wanting to go to the studio downtown anyway and check it out. What better time than now? So it's Thursday, May 23rd, and I went ahead and I checked it out. I went in at about 10:30 this morning, got my hair cut before that, not specifically for this, but I needed a haircut. So thank you to Great Clips over there on Einsinger in Conway, Arkansas, for making my hair look a little decent, a little better than it was. So I get to the studio downtown, and it's eclectic. It's a good working space. There were people chatting to the left of me when I walked in, but you really couldn't hear them. Everybody's talking kind of low. And the nice lady who greeted me, it wasn't Kate, it was her partner, I suppose, or another person that works there. Sorry, I forgot your name if you're listening to this, but I'm sure I will get it soon enough. But she took me and showed me the conference room, and she went upstairs, showed me her space. She has a more permanent space up there. Apparently you can do that, and that's great. If you need an office space that's more on a permanent basis, they have that there. So it's a nice open place to meet people for the most part, and to get some work done if you want to just be left alone for a little bit. So, and there's coffee and bagels and orange juice. That's complimentary. And there's Wi-Fi. That's another nice thing, a nice amenity. So I sat myself down near the coffee machine. I put my little Zoom H4n Pro out there, and I figured, well, if anybody interesting comes by, I'll give them a chit chat. And sure enough, somebody interesting came by. I met up with John Mitchell, who runs Zateo Coffee at 911 West Oak Street, which is just down the street from the studio downtown. So he came in, and Kate mentioned that, oh, he has a podcast too. And I said, well, let's talk about it. Let's podcast about it. So we did. And John sat down at the table with me, and we chit-chatted about, well, Zateo Coffee, first of all. He gets his coffee from a local place here in Arkansas that is reputed to be the top place to get your coffee beans in the country. That's pretty bold. I like that. So he gets the good coffee beans for his Zateo Coffee. And he also likes to exercise and eat right. So he made a podcast about it. His podcast is called Pathways to Fitness. And I found it, well, pretty much everywhere that you find podcasts. So it's Pathways to Fitness, featuring John Mitchell and his brother, David Mitchell. Now, John had a story as well about how he got into the coffee business from being in an IT type situation, and somewhere along the line spent his 20s doing IT and said, do I want to do this the rest of my life? Nope. So he decided to open a coffee shop, and not necessarily because he likes coffee, but because he likes coffee shops. Pretty cool. Well, the studio downtown, I talked to Kate, and we're probably going to do a podcast next week, so stay tuned for that. Let's hear a little bit about what John Mitchell's journey has been and where he's going. I got about half of the conversation, sadly, because I did not press the record button. I'm a bad podcaster. So here's John Mitchell of Zateo Coffee and the Pathways to Fitness podcast. Now.
But yeah, so that's the stuff we talk about. But to me, he is like the normal person that struggles with their weight or struggles with being fit or whatever. But he's accomplished some cool things. He's dropped 100 plus pounds. He's got himself from an unhealthy state to being in shape and being able to do things that he never thought that he would be able to do. You know, and so to me, that's helpful. Like, telling that story helps people.
Yeah.
Because it helps people understand, like, you're never too far gone to get healthy again. You're
Sure.
never too far out of shape to start making progress and getting back, into a functional place.
Well, it sounds like you have the street cred. I mean, you definitely just doing the CrossFit and doing the work.
Yeah.
It gives you it gives you the expertise to give the advice to other people. Yeah. Hey, this worked for me.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll work for you.
Yeah. And it does, and that's what it is. It's just putting in the work. It's putting. So many people today want the quick fix.
Sure.
They want the secret or the pill or the whatever to get them. To
I've walked into GNC saying, "Hey, do you have a magic pill?"
And that's a huge industry. I mean, it's multiple hundreds of billions of dollar industry. But what it really boils down to is just putting in the time and putting in the effort. And it doesn't have to be all of it right now today. It's making small adjustments and tweaks to your lifestyle over a long period of time that makes the difference. So it's doable by everyone. You just have to do a little bit at a time for a long period of time.
You're looking at me like I need to do it, and yes, I need to do it.
No,
of course, I need to do it.
I think everybody needs to do it.
Yeah.
Whether they look in the mirror and look quote unquote healthy, or whether they don't, everybody needs to take care of their health.
Sure.
Everybody needs to take steps to keep themselves in functional condition. Otherwise, you limit your quality of life as you get older. You limit what you're able to do. You limit your life experiences.
Yeah.
You know, because you're held back. You know.
Yeah.
And so it's just a little bit at a time.
I know. Over the years, the only thing that's really torn off all the weight, whenever I've actually been serious about working out, it's always been running.
Yeah.
You know, and running it's so hard on your knees, and that's what people say, but running is the only thing that tears it off. I lost 70 pounds in 7 months, but it was 70 good pounds because it stayed off for a long time until I got sedentary and I got behind the microphone at the radio studio and just started talking to people that weren't there, which is what radio people do.
Sure.
They talk to people that are not there because you're in a room by yourself, which is cool. Well, which is a good reason to be here at the studio downtown in Conway, Arkansas, talking to John from Zeteo Coffee and also the Pathway to Fitness podcast.
Yeah. No, that's why I joined the studio, is because just to be around other people. So I own 2 businesses.
Yes.
I don't work in the businesses a lot. I work on the businesses behind the scenes.
So you got good managers.
So we have a good team.
That's nice.
We have good people.
That's what an entrepreneur should do, is build a business, get a good manager, and go build another business.
Go do something else.
Yes.
That's kind of like, that's what I like. That's what I'm into. But that means I'm working kind of in random places, or I'm working by myself a lot, because contrary to popular belief, when you open your own coffee shop, it's very difficult to go and work in that coffee shop all the time. You know, I think a lot of people have this like idea and this dream of, well, if I open my own coffee place, like I'm just going to hang out there and it's going to be grand all the time.
No, you're also going to be stuck there. You don't want to be stuck there.
Yeah, but if I sit down and work in that space, my eyes and ears are always just open to what's going on.
You're the helicopter boss.
Well, no. That's to me, that sounds really negative. Like I'm a micromanager.
It's
not the case.
Okay.
But I mean, you are always tuned into what's going on when you're in your place.
Sure.
You know, and everything may be going smoothly and everybody's doing a great job, but you're still always sort of you're distracted from your work.
Nobody cares about it more than you.
Right.
That's the thing.
Right. And so I can't really go there and work really in a focused manner.
Sure.
But then if I'm at home, it's really hard too, because I've got a young daughter that may be home, or my wife's home, and if I'm there, then I obviously have time to do other things, so people think, and so I'm constantly pulled off on other requests.
Sure.
And so this space is really great because it allows me to be here, work, be focused. I can be around other people and benefit from their energy being here, but nobody's making demands of me. Nobody's asking me to do anything here, really.
Except be on a podcast.
Other than be here.
Except be on a podcast, random podcast, just a guy sitting in the middle of the place.
But there are also really great opportunities when you're here to meet people that you might not otherwise, to network with people that you might not otherwise, to connect and to do things like that. So the opportunities are here to connect and do other things, but there's not an expectation or demand of you to do that.
Yeah, exactly why I'm here.
So it's super great.
just to to get myself out of my regular element and find some new people in a new situation.
That's
and
the
this
whole
is
idea.
definitely, I hope I'm not bothering too many people by talking.
No, I mean, that's the idea. I mean, that's what this space is here for. Now, I mean, there are other places in the building where if you need a private desk or you need a private space, that's a different type membership, and you can have that, and you can be away from kind of the more general area where people are milling around and working and talking.
Right.
But there's spaces here, and I mean, I don't work for the studio. I just really like the product that they put together.
Sounds like you work for the studio, man.
I don't.
That's
I
cool.
do try to help promote whenever I can. But they
good.
put together a really good deal. So there's options for if you need privacy. There's options if you just want to like generally work around other people and just be kind of in the mix and do this kind of thing like what we're doing right now. Yeah. So it's pretty great.
That's the thing. Once you get in a good situation, you want to tell everybody about it.
Sure.
Hey, I got a good haircut. Where?
Yeah.
Well, let's find out. Tell me more.
Absolutely.
I got a good cup of coffee. Where?
Yeah, as a Teo.
Zateo?
Yeah.
Hey, place is great.
Word of mouth promotion is the best, right?
Sure.
You can talk about yourself all day, but what's better than that is if other people are talking about you.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's pretty good.
And I hear that a lot. I hear that people are talking about Keys Dan all the time, and that's me, Keys Dan.
Yeah.
And I'll be talking about Zateo coffee. I got to go in there and get myself an espresso.
Yeah, you pop in there. I mean, we've got like the typical specialty coffee type stuff. I mean, like when I say specialty coffee, people are kind of like, well, what does that mean? So it's like think Starbucks, but then think like nicer.
Yeah.
Higher quality.
No, and yes, Starbucks has their thing, and you know what you're going to get when you go in there.
Yeah.
But if you're going to try to compete with them, or not even compete, just be different. Mm-hmm. Just go in there. You're offering a product that's very similar, but it's a better taste. Yeah. A better version of that.
Right.
And that's how you beat McDonald's and Burger King, with a better burger. I don't know if you eat meat or anything, and we haven't even got into that. Diet. Mm-hmm. I know that's important in your nutritional and your getting healthy. Yeah. And do you bother with diet?
Oh, sure.
I'm sure.
That's honestly the foundation of everything.
That was a rhetorical question, really.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't have solid nutrition, then everything else it doesn't really stand well. So you build the foundation with a good nutritional approach, and then that impacts and improves everything else.
So how is your diet? I mean, have you heard of these paleo and having just only carbs or what have you?
Yeah.
I don't go for the fad diets. I try to eat right, but
I think I
mostly don't eat right.
A lot of those are capitalizing, I think, on trends and fads. Probably all of them have some element of truth to them, like some element of value to them, but a lot of them try to capitalize on what's the hot thing. Yeah. Right now it's keto, right? So it's like you even go by GNC and see signs about keto, this or that, which is essentially, higher fat intake, moderate protein, low carbohydrate. And so the goal of that is just keeping your insulin level and your blood sugar low. Because insulin is what causes your body to store things, to hang on to.
You're schooling me, John. That's excellent. Yeah.
Right. So if you keep your blood sugar level, you keep it low. You're not spiking up and down with, all kinds of like sugars and things like that. If you keep it level, then you're a lot less likely to like hit that afternoon crash. You're a lot less likely to eat things that are probably not good for you.
Super.
You keep the weight down. You're able to go out and do more things. All that stuff. But carbs are not evil. Carbs are not bad. Mm-mm. It's just things in moderation and in balance,
So typical day of food for you? Breakfast?
Yep, so breakfast, sometimes I may not have it, which...
most important meal of the day.
You've got schools of thought, right, that are telling you it's the most important meals of the day.
Sure.
Maybe you need to go back and look at where that line of thinking came from. Is that like based in science and fact, or was that propagated by like cereal companies?
You got that right.
And food manufacturers?
Yeah, the whole food pyramid was made by not... It wasn't even nutritionists. It was the agriculture department that made that.
So, but if I do feel hungry, if I want to eat in the morning, maybe I'll do a bulletproof coffee. Maybe I'll mix some like butter and coconut oil with coffee. Or if I feel like I need something more, maybe I'll do like some oatmeal and I'll like mix in protein powder. Like I'll kind of mix it in so it's almost like a dessert.
Yeah.
Kind of so you're getting proteins and carbs in a good balanced way. And then maybe I'll have, Chick-fil-A's got these. This is not an ad.
Yes,
but
it's the Lord's food, man.
Yeah. But Chick-fil-A's got a couple of things. Like they've got this grilled Cool Wrap, which has got a good level of like protein and carbohydrates. It's pretty balanced, so I'll just grab that sometimes.
Yeah.
But I try to keep it like whole foods. I try not to do a lot of processed, packaged foods. Because a lot of those are like, they have tons of preservatives.
Yeah, they
and
do.
Extra stuff in them that you don't need, that your body doesn't really know what to do with.
Exactly. That's what it is it doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
So does it deposit as fat, or does it just waste it?
Yeah, probably some of both.
Some of both.
A lot of times deposits it as fat, yeah. Or it causes you to crave other things, that you don't need.
Man, you are very knowledgeable, Mr. John of Zeteo Coffee and the Pathways to Fitness podcast.
Yeah.
Now, what kind of schooling did you do? How did you get into coffee, man?
Wow, that's a long story.
Let's see. I got about 3 hours left on this thing.
I don't have 3 hours.
I get it. No, just
got into coffee. I've always enjoyed hanging out at coffee shops.
yeah.
So I've always enjoyed the atmospheres of coffee places.
Yeah.
Way before I liked coffee.
Sure.
Way before I experienced coffee that much.
What? Okay.
Yeah. So the majority of my career has been in corporate IT, and so I kind of did the corporate job, working behind the desk, doing computer work.
IT. So you're a smart guy. Okay.
I wouldn't say. I think I was just lucked into some things. Really.
Had the pocket protector with the pencils and get out of the way. Let me check your email for you.
Yeah. The computer guy.
Computer guy.
I got that SNL reference.
Yes, you did.
Just kind of went down the path, kind of like
yeah.
the success path that we're all kind of grown up and taught to pursue.
Sure.
Right? You gotta get the job with the paycheck and the office, and you gotta check off all the boxes to have succeeded.
Yeah.
And so I did those things.
So that was your 20s.
Yeah, that was in my 20s, and I realized I kind of checked off all those boxes, and I was sitting there, and I was like, is this it? Like, is this...
Do I want to do this the rest of my life?
Yeah, am I going to do this for 20 or 30 more years?
Get the gold watch and...
Right, and I realized that, I just wasn't built to do that. But I'd really forgotten, I didn't really realize that, I think I'd forgotten that I was an entrepreneur, sort of, at heart.
Had you built anything before that?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, not really.
Just had ideas.
Yeah, well, I don't even know that I really had ideas. I just realized where I was, I didn't want to stay.
Yeah.
And so then came the struggle and journey to figure out what it was that I wanted to do, because I couldn't answer that question. So I knew I didn't want to work in the corporate world for the rest of my career, but I couldn't tell you what I wanted to do. And so that was probably more frustrating than realizing I didn't want to be in that corporate career. It was knowing that I didn't want to do that, but not knowing what to do instead. Right? So that kind of was a little bit of a frustrating journey in itself. And when I think back to being a kid, I did...
Living in Arkansas your whole life?
Yep, I grew up in North Little Rock.
Oh, okay.
Yep. But growing up as a kid, I did entrepreneurial things, but I didn't really connect the dots. I didn't really understand what that was.
Did you sell baseball cards to anybody?
Back then, entrepreneur wasn't a buzzword like it is
now. No, but you do stuff,
Yeah.
You make some money as a little kid to go get your bubble gum and whatever.
Mow lawns. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I would wash cars for the neighbors on the street.
Okay.
One example always sticks out to me is I ended up taking a bag of popcorn, like a brown lunch sack of popcorn that I made at home. I ended up taking it to school one day.
Yes.
And I don't remember if one of my classmates offered to buy it from me,
right?
Or if I just thought about it. Probably was they offered to buy it from me, and a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh, I can bring this stuff to school and people will give me money for it.
Yes.
And so I thought, and so what I started doing for several days or probably a few weeks after that is I would make these bags of popcorn at home and I would bring them to school and sell them.
That's how you
for
get
like
to spend
50
your money.
cents, you know, and I was like, man, this is awesome. Like, there was just something about it I loved.
Yeah.
And, you know, it was like my overhead was super low. Like,
Sure.
Mom and Dad provided the popcorn.
Oh, that's nice.
So it was like my cost of goods was zero. And I was just like, it was 100% profit when I went to school. And then my teacher, I think she shut me down. I don't know why she stopped letting me do that, but maybe it was a safety thing. I don't know.
No, but a teacher, come on,
Yeah, so
teachers.
she told me I had to
let the
quit.
kids be
Told me I had to quit
entrepreneurs.
doing that. And so, but yeah, like, so I would mow lawns and wash cars, but I just figured like that's what
That's a hardworking kid.
everybody
Make
does,
some money.
right? If you want some money. And so, but I had no problem going and asking neighbors if they would let me do those things.
Yes.
But growing up, going through junior high school and college, I guess I kind of forgot about that. Like, that didn't really even kind of click to me as being like a future. And then until I realized I didn't like working in a corporate setting. I didn't like working like the traditional setting.
Some people can. Some
Yeah.
people can do it their whole lives,
So
man.
then, but I was a music student coming up through school, so junior high, high school, college. You know, I went to college for a little bit
Sure.
on music scholarship, and so
What'd you play?
I was a trumpet player, so I was a
Trumpet.
jazz trumpet
Excellent.
player.
Excellent.
And so I always appreciated the arts. So I always
Yeah.
appreciated like jazz and the symphony, and I always enjoyed going to productions and play. So I always enjoyed like the arts as a whole.
Yes.
And so a lot of time, and you know, being in music school, we would do a lot of studying in coffee shops. And so I always
Yes.
enjoyed those spaces. You know, it's kind of like the culmination of all the arts and like in a coffee shop, and like how all that stuff comes together, and you come across different types of people. So you have people in there that might be writing, or that might be drawing, or doing art projects, or they might be having business meetings, or just all kinds of different people. But then you've got the sights and the smells and the sounds of the cafe.
Yes.
You got the coffee grinding, you got the smell of coffee, you hear the espresso machine doing its thing.
Yes.
So it's just kind of like this magical thing. But again, I didn't really drink coffee that much.
Yeah.
I just like being in the environment. And so fast forward to me not liking being in the corporate world.
Yes.
I thought, well, I was brainstorming and thinking, you know, I was like, okay, I live in Conway. We have 3 colleges in Conway. I was like, but no good like music really, like shows, bands rarely come to Conway and do concerts or
Yeah.
do like really any.
Even since 2009, when I got here, I tried
Yeah.
to have a
So when you-
concert at the skating rink,
Yeah.
and it didn't work out at
We
all.
have 3 colleges and all these young kids, but it's like at the time, it was like there's just not a whole lot of. So I'm thinking, okay, music venue, we do bring in bands, do shows, but then I thought, well, you've got to have a way to make money when you're not doing shows. So then I thought back to Juanita's. Do you remember Juanita's
Oh,
in Little
yeah.
Rock? So they're
Yes.
like Mexican cantina type place, but then they had a live music venue.
That was our CBGBs pretty much.
Yeah, and so, but then I thought, well, I don't really want to run a restaurant. I thought, I don't want to do a full-blown restaurant.
Sure.
And so then like I somehow like landed on like coffee shop.
Beans and water.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, I mean, like artsy things happen in coffee shops. And so that's how we landed on a coffee shop.
So do you have events at your coffee shop as
We
well?
don't do a whole lot of events, honestly.
No spoken word or anything like that?
I mean, our space here is relatively small.
Sure.
I've wanted to do events here. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't figured out where to do them. If that makes sense.
How about the studio downtown?
Yeah, we can do.
You can do events at the studio downtown. This
totally
is
do
a
that.
nice space.
Yeah, and that's something that they for sure offer members as like an event, and people rent this place for events all the time. It's great for that.
Yeah.
So maybe something we do.
So how old were you when you said Zateo Coffee? Let's open this out.
Yeah. So how old was I? I was in my probably early 30s.
Early 30s.
But it was almost a 10-year process
What?
from the time I decided I wanted to do that
You're still in your early 30s, man.
until now I'm 42 until it actually happened. And so like a lot of that was probably procrastinating because I was overanalyzing everything.
Right.
But then there was some education that had to happen in that time as well. So I went out to Portland. There's a barista school out there.
Why wouldn't there be?
And Portland is really sort of like if Seattle is like the corporate coffee mecca.
Sure.
Portland is really your like independent specialty coffee capital.
So
of
you learned the
America.
good stuff there.
So there's like great coffee out there, and there's a barista school out there. I went there for like a full week of intensive, like 8 or 9 hour a day classes that covered a lot of the business side of it.
So you're living there?
Well, I mean, I went there for a week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I stayed there for about a week.
Oh, it was a week. All
yeah,
right.
and so we got into like an intensive business classes around cafes, and then also just the craft of making the drinks, doing sandwiches, doing all that stuff.
So is it stuck in the 90s like all the TV shows?
What,
That Portland is,
no,
all grunge
Portland's
and
super cool. No, Portland's really cool. But then fast forward a couple more years,
Please.
we got to we had the opportunity to manage a full coffee shop that's in our church. So
Okay.
Our church has a full out coffee shop where the proceeds of it go to like missions projects and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they invited my wife and I to manage that.
Excellent.
And it's run off volunteers, but I mean, it's run really well. But it's, so we had the opportunity to manage inventory, do ordering, manage a staff, schedule people, do all of those things without risking any of our own money.
You're
So
learning
it's
while you're helping
essentially
your church.
Yeah, it was a lab environment almost.
Sure.
So we got real world experience. We were able to apply what I had learned in a real world setting, and we were able to do it without really high risk. And so then, fast forward another year or two, and we opened our first store in Conway.
What year was this?
2015.
2015.
Yeah, 2015.
All right.
We opened in Conway, and then
What's the address on there?
it's 911 West Oak Street.
911 West Oak Street,
Yep.
just down there,
Yep.
just down from the downtown there.
Yeah, it's just like a block from the studio where we're at right now. And then in 2017, we opened in Little Rock.
Excellent.
River Market.
What's the address there?
It is 610 President Clinton Avenue.
Dig it.
Yeah, so it's right next to the Museum of Discovery, if you're familiar with the River Market.
I know the Museum of Discovery.
Yep, we're right next door.
Oh, that's hot, man.
So in total, about 4 years in business, 2 years in our Little Rock shop.
So I guess you did exceptionally well in Conway to want to open up another one.
Well,
in Little Rock.
we got somebody's attention in Little Rock. Some people, there was an office building, there was a company there that wanted a cafe in the ground floor of their building.
Sure.
And so they came and we worked out an arrangement. We worked
Excellent.
out a deal together to open a spot there.
So did you personally have to open the Conway one, and then you had to personally go over to the Little Rock and make sure that one was off the ground, and now you have a good team that's running both of them.
Right.
And it seems like you're freed up to do other things.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. I'm freed up to move around. And
So what
I'm always mentally
what
connected.
other things are you getting into?
Well, so we actually have a mobile pop-up espresso bar.
What, like a food truck?
No, it's not really a food truck. It's more of like literally like a pop-up bar. So we have a bar, like all the equipment and a bar that we can throw in the back of my Yukon.
Yeah.
And we can take it to events, and we can pop it up at wedding receptions.
Yes.
Kind of like you would as a DJ.
Yes.
You go to any kind of event, right? Like birthday
absolutely.
parties, whatever.
Yeah.
We can do the same thing with espresso. And
So you could take your
specialty
Zateo coffee to any event.
Anywhere.
That's super.
Yeah, we can walk into an office and set up and serve, or in the lobby of a bank. We can go to wedding receptions. We've gone to sorority houses before, and
Sure.
I mean, just really anything. It's super cool.
Hey, businesses, that if you want to have some coffee and you want to treat your employees right, have some Zateo coffee at your own business. It will be such a joy for them. It'll show that you care about them.
Yeah, employees love it. Customers, like if you're doing customer appreciation type
Exactly.
stuff, they love it.
Yeah.
We had a tech startup in Little Rock a couple of months ago invite us to come and serve in their employee break room on like a Friday morning.
Sure.
And like we served their employees for probably 3 hours, and they loved it.
Is that stuff you like to do personally?
Oh yeah, to me that's super fun.
That would be the thing that I want, because then you see different environments and different people.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're going to different places. You're interacting with different people. They all love it. Yeah, it's great.
And you're not stuck in one place all the
Stuck in one
time.
place. It provides a lot of flexibility.
Yes.
And we see some neat places.
Yes.
It's cool. And then my latest thing that I'm super excited about is I'm working on an online course.
Hit me.
Yeah, so I'm gonna create an online course to teach people how to build out their own mobile espresso business.
You have to stop.
Yeah.
Are you franchising?
No, not really franchising. So I mean, this will be their thing.
I put it in your head, man. Franchise.
I thought about it. I actually did think about franchising, but then I realized that still requires me to be somewhat involved.
Somewhat.
Yeah.
But then you get a good manager. And
yeah, but what I want to
to
do is I just want to I want to take the knowledge and experience that I've gained over 4 years.
Sure.
And I want to give it to other people that want to launch their own thing.
You got a website set up on that?
We're working on that.
Okay,
working
good.
on doing that. So I'm actually working on building the course out right now. So
Yes.
Take a little bit of time because I want it to be done really well.
You have to think about it for
You gotta
sure.
think about it. I want it to be done really well. In my mind, it's going to be delivered through probably a combination of webinars and then like video modules.
So the stuff you learned in Portland.
The stuff I learned in Portland
And beyond.
things that I've learned through experience here. So
Yes.
I will basically take people through the journey and give them all of my resources.
Yeah.
So essentially they would be able to launch their very own pop-up espresso bar when they're finished with the course.
No, it's a pop-up Zeteo coffee.
And so, well, it doesn't have to be branded.
Come on!
It doesn't have to be branded Zeteo coffee. But the deal is you can get into the mobile espresso business for
Yes.
probably a tenth.
Yeah.
What you can open a brick and mortar store.
If you say you can throw a bar in the back of your Yukon and just go, that's
I'm talking
great.
like equipment, everything.
Sure.
I would provide them with like the invoicing, contracting platform, pricing, like everything, literally.
Man.
And so, for a tenth of what you could open a brick and mortar store,
Yes.
which when you have a brick and mortar store, you've got constant rent and utilities. You've got constantly employee turnover that you've got to deal with. You've got constant inventory that you're having to order and like keep on a rotating basis.
Yeah.
You have a pop-up mobile espresso bar, like you don't have really any of that. So if that bar's out in the field working, it's making you money. It's advertising your
Yes.
brand. If it's not out in the field working, it's not costing you any money.
Oh, okay.
So it's really like the best of all worlds and none of the like downside.
What do you think of the big brick and mortars closing down? They're going the way of the dodo, online shopping.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's just the nature. I don't know. It's like, I think, it's just technology. It's the way people, people vote with their dollar on how they want to, experience things and buy things.
Correct.
I think the brick and mortar places that wow people with customer service.
Yes.
I think customer service is like the great differentiator.
Yes.
In business. I mean, you can have amazing products, but if your customer service is not great or not memorable, then people will go on to other things.
Yeah.
But you can even have like a marginal product, but if your customer service you knock it out of the park and you serve people well,
Correct.
they're going to keep coming back.
So when you go into Zeteo Coffee, do they automatically say, "Hey, how you doing?"
They do, yeah. I mean, like that's something we coach our staff on all the time. Is when people walk in the door, we should be greeting them.
Sure.
Does it happen every time? Do we
Yeah.
do it 100% of the time? Probably not, but that's the goal.
But it's nice, and you can feel whether they actually mean it
Yep.
or they don't.
Yeah.
I went and got my hair cut this morning. Hey, welcome, and I'll shout it out. Welcome to Great Clips.
Yeah.
And they said, "Hey, all right." And I actually felt like I felt welcome.
Yeah.
And I come into the studio downtown, and I got immediately welcomed.
Right.
Immediately,
Right.
and like I'm a pal.
Yeah.
And before she even knew my name, I had a tour of the place.
Yeah.
That's service, man.
It's just good service.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to do. It's just like genuinely like caring, I think, and being interested in people.
Yeah.
And it goes a long way.
Yeah.
It's to make that connection. And like you said it, it's how they make you feel. Like it's the feeling that you remember.
Sure.
Right?
And you'll be back.
Sure.
You'll be back.
Yeah, if it's just transactional, then that typically doesn't last. Like there's no stickiness to that. So
How much time do you have, man?
I actually need to wrap up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I'm behind on my to-do list today, but this was fun.
John, Zeteo Coffee. John what?
Mitchell.
John Mitchell,
Yep.
Zeteo Coffee. Keys Dan, Daniel Gilson is my real name. But, and it's the What Makes You Famous, podcast.
That's cool. I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, and what's your podcast again?
The Pathways to Fitness.
Pathways to Fitness.
Yeah.
Find it everywhere.
Go subscribe, review, and share, right?
Believe it, man. Just a couple of brothers teaching you.
I'll do that for you. I'll make sure and go check it out and write your review.
Well, I'll put you in the show notes.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll put the studio downtown because they weren't even involved, but hanging out in the background there, laughing and smiling and giggling because we're just chit-chatting in the middle of the place.
Yeah.
John Mitchell.
Cool. Hey, enjoyed it.
You're the best.
Thanks.
Well, there you have it, party people. I encourage you, if you have a story to tell, give me a call at 501-470-6386 or email info@radiowhat.com. That's it for this episode. What makes you famous? Keys Dan, radiowhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.
Radio What? The music you want. Hey guys, this is Shelly G with a fast fact. In 1963, the French launched a cat called Fillette into space. Do you have a fast fact? Share it with us at Interactive Radio, radiowhat.com.
Tweet, yo. Follow Radio What on Twitter at Radio What Twit. Tweet, yo.